Okay, in lesson 5, these are quick fixes. You've got a whole bunch of different files that you're going to be working with that gives you a whole bunch of different options to work with too. This is going to cover things like removing red eye, brightening an image, adjusting the feature of a phase, combining image to create a panorama, crop and straighten, blur the area, merge images for depth of field, adding optical lens corrections, and adjusting perspective. Okay, all of those things are going to be done here. Lesson's going to take about an hour to complete. You've got this. Let's go ahead and take a look at where we're going to start. So we're going to open these from our lesson 5 file. So we're going to go open. So I'm just going to pull up our red eye start file. I'm going to adjust by name just to make sure. Okay. So unfortunately, she's got some red eyes and it's also underexposed. Okay. So here it is. And we are going to save it as a red eye working, and we're going to change that to a PSD file. See that? You can also type it, but you just make sure that your format is a PSD. So there we are. We're going to go to our zoom tool right here, and we're going to drag to see her eyes. There is a red eye tool. Okay, it's hidden underneath your spot healing brush. So when you look over here, you've got your spot healing brush. There's your red eye tool. Up here in the options bar, see there? Pupil size, we're going to change it to 23%. And we're going to change the darken amount to 62. Okay. Do this. Change that. You can see there's a little override there. I'm concerned with that. Let's see. Sometimes repositioning. Okay, so there's that. Okay. We're going to go to View, Fit on Screen. Now let's brighten the image. We're going to go over to the Adjustments panel, and we're going to go to our Single Adjustments, and we are going to go down to this curves down here. Okay, so there's your little chart, and then we are going to click, got our auto, see how it automatically adjusts that if you just click that. Let's go look at lighter in our presets. Let's do the reset. It's our reset. Okay, you can also click here, reset to adjustment defaults. So what we're going to do is then we're going to select the on image adjustment tool, just this little hand right here. And then we're going to click the center of her forehead, and we're going to drag up. See that? I'm just clicking and holding. That's pretty. I'm going to go to layer. I'm going to go down flatten image. Okay, and then we're going to save. Now we're going to use the liquify tool. This has gotten so much more detailed in the last 10 years. It's crazy. But so we have our red eye working that's still open. We're going to go up to filter and we're going to go to liquify. All right, that's right here. This will help you with any of the subtle adjustments you're ever going to need. Okay, so we're going to go up to filter. And we're going to go to liquify. Okay, so this pulls up a whole new panel in properties. This is where if you do session work, if you've got photos, if anybody complains about facial features or the way their angle is, or if their arm looks weird, you can make subtle changes to this without having to use a clone tool, without being destructive. It's pretty fantastic. And the way that it is now, it now recognizes faces. We never used to have this, and it was frustrating. But now you can have the option to, even if you have 5 people in a photo, it will pick each different person, and you can do all these changes. It's wild. So we are going to go over to our properties panel, right? We've got our face 1 because we have 1 person in here, and we're going to subtly change some of these settings. We are going to have the eyes, and we're going to go to, we can close up this for right now so we focus on the 1. That way you can kind of see it. So we're in the eyes. We are going to change eye size and eye height, 32 for eye size and 10 for eye height. 32, 32, 10, 10. Okay, the link is on. Thank you. So normally, if you have this here, but if you turn the link on, see how it changes them both? So you could just type it once and be able to have it reflected on the other side. Now, we're going to do the mouth. Okay? We're going to change her expression a little bit. We're going to put 5. Now you're going to be able to see stuff changing. Look at her face there. See how her frown is down? Watch this. It can get really weird if somebody's smiling. So we're not going to have it at 100, but we are going to put it to 5 with a subtle upturn of her sides of her mouth. And we're going to do 9 on her mouth height. Okay. Close that one. I'm going to go down to face shape. I'm going to change that 40 for jawline. That widens that jawline, and 50 for face width. See that? You can do anything else that you want to do, but it is crazy. We're gonna hit OK. So let's take a look. I'm going to do Command Z on my Mac to take a look at the changes that were made. Save our changes, and we're going to close out of that document. Okay, opening as a smart object allows it to be able to not be destructive for the original image, which is why you've got your little image here. So if you don't have this and you just opened it as a JPEG, make sure you go back, go to File, Open as a smart object. Okay, we're going to save this as, if I can type, working. It's going to tell me it wants to override. Yes, because I have another one as an example. Okay, so we are going to, we've saved that as egret working. We're going to use a filter, blur gallery iris blur, to be able to give some distinction between the egret and that background grass that's overwhelming. So let's go up here to filter, and we'll go to filter gallery. So let's go up to filter. And we're going to go to our blur gallery. There's a couple options here. We're going to click the iris blur. All right. So we're going to move this. So that's clicking the center will change the intensity of the blur. Let's keep it at 5 because that's what I want to do the first time. Drag this up so this kind of hits right below his body. And you can adjust it in a bit to be able to resize it to kind of come in a little bit closer to his body. We're going to leave it like that. Now, they want you to stick with that first. Let's take a look. All right, cool. Now, something that doesn't happen when you have a JPEG open, you don't get a smart filter on a smart object. You can't go back in and modify this. So that's the important part. This is kind of subtle. It's kind of strong. Let's take a look. Let's bump it up one more, right? So we're going to double click this smart filter. which allows us to have that mask that changes. So we can go back to Smart Filter. Let's see if it lets us modify. Okay. So right here, we're going to double click this blur gallery. That allows us to bring up the changes and change it a little bit more. We're just going to go up to 6. And we're going to say okay. I'm going to save, and then we're going to close. With me, I would totally go in here and change all kinds of stuff, but you know what? It's for the book. So you're done with that file now. Next, we're going to work on our panorama. Panorama. This is a way that you can create a longer panoramic image with multiple images that you have, city scenes, large group photos if you've got them all to not move. So let's go over, again, I don't have my bridge open, so I'm just going to open. I'm going to my lesson 5, and I'm going to pull up my bridge. JK. I'm going to pull up my skyline, which is these. So I'm going to go here. I can go File, Automate, Photo Merge. All right. I'm going to choose Perspective right here. I'm going to browse for the files that I want to use, and they are in here. Files for Panorama. Open. Skyline 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to select all of them. Okay. And I'm going to hit Open. There they are. We want to blend the images together. We want the vignette removal. We want geometric distortion correction. And we want to content fill areas that are transparent. And then we are going to click OK. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Seriously, guys. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've taught this class for a very long time. And the way that these things have changed over time is just amazing. So that took, what, 3 seconds? It's incredible. So we've created this amazing panoramic image. So it goes through each step. The automated section is something also that I kind of want to be able to explain to you all how to create actions and how to make something populate for you on your own, even though you've created a setting, and then you can help cut down production time whenever you're doing stuff like this. So you have the full document now. It overlapped certain areas. You can see that it created some masks. So if you went in there to actually look, so we would have to cover the merged file here, but you can kind of see what it's done. It's gone and auto-selected certain areas to be able to overlap it in a better way to create that panoramic image, thus creating this entire thing where it's filled in. Anything that is in the blinking line, that's where it did a content aware, so it filled in what it assumed would be in that space. So we're going to go to select. We're going to deselect that image. We're going to go to layer, and we're going to flatten. And then we're going to save that back here in your lesson 5 folder with its friend at Skyline. Working. And remember, JPEG, we're going to switch that to PSD. Okay. So we're going to fix a couple of things that are in this image right now. We're going to go to our adjustments panel. We're going to go to our levels. Okay. We're going to get our white point eyedropper. We're going to click it. Go over to our cloud and auto adjust the white levels to what that image was. Whole image is brighter. We're going to save our work. It's going to say save our Photoshop format option because we've done that adjustment layer. We're going to hit OK. But we're going to fill some empty areas. We're going to go in and correct his horizon. You can see that it kind of goes up on this side, we're going to fix that so it's straight across. And then there's a couple of places where the handrail is a little messed up. See it here? So we'll correct that. We're going to go to layer and we're going to flatten this image. We're going to go to the crop tool, which is right here. Now, we want to be able to modify this and straighten here. Okay, what you're going to do, we're going to click on the straighten, but we're also not going to fill the background just a default where it leaves white. We're going to do a generative expand. It's going to fill in those spaces that become outside of that bounding box. So we're going to go like this. We are going to follow this horizon line from here. And we're going to drag from here all the way to here. Okay. And then see these spaces that are here? That is going to be filled by that generative expand. We're going to commit to that, and it's going to make the changes. Let that progress bar do its job. If you're running an older version, it takes a little bit more time. Okay, and then we're going to take a look at these properties that they've given us. You can arrow it here, you can select here too. So here's property number 1, number 2, number 3. So see how it changes the top corner of that cloud? I don't like that one as much because I feel there's more of a solid line. I like that. I kind of like that one, but look down at the bottom right-hand corner and see what it's done with the rocks. I'm kind of okay with this one. I think we're going to roll with the option 3. If you don't like any of them, again, you can generate again. Okay, we're going to save. And that's it. And we're done. So let's crop this part out here. We've saved. And now we're going to close. Now we're going to work with image distortion. This will happen when you photograph at lower angles, when you have a wider angle lens, anything below, you know, your 50 or 30 millimeter lens. When you get into 24 millimeters, if you're photographing, if you've got a wide angle setting, or if you're using the 1.5 on an iPhone, this will happen. So the lens correction filter, what we're going to do, we're going to pull up our column start. I'm going to do it this way again. Okay, I'm going to change this to columns working. Ooh. It is a Photoshop, it's a PSD, we're good. Now we're going to go to filter and we're going to do a lens correction, right? That's right here. Here comes a dialog box. This is going to give you a couple options to be able to autocorrect some of these pieces. We're going to make sure that our scale is on. You're going to look in 2 sections. You're going to look here, and then you're going to look over here. Make sure that you can see it. Hang on. Let me make sure it's there. Okay, yeah, we're good. All right, so in the corrections area, which is over here, we are going to make sure that auto scale image is selected and transparency is yes, yes. We're going to go to the custom tab right here. Move that slider on the remove distortion to positive 52. See what it already starts to do? Now if you went like this, so we're going to go to 52. All right. We're going to change that horizontal perspective, which is right over here, to 14. Okay. We're going to deselect our preview, which is down here. Kind of shows you the change that was made. We're going to apply our changes. Okay. See that? We're going to do save. Now we're going to change some depth of field. So that's done, even though I would absolutely color correct this, but that's not my business. So let's do our depth of field, right? We're going to open up our glass start, glass end. I mean, you can take a look at both of them. So, you know, with your bridge, you can compare. Again, I don't have mine open. So this is the start of your file. There's your end. See how this is sharper? Blur. We're going to fix that. Okay. Start here. Change it to working, as always. Oh, okay. PSD, we're good. Yes, thank you. Okay, so in our layers panel that we have here, we have beach and we have glass. Do you see how that is sharp and that is not? Okay, there's our two files. So let's align the layers first, right? We're gonna go to our layers panel. Make sure both of those are on. We are going to hold shift and select both layers. Okay, so both of them have that light gray. We're going to go to edit and we're going to auto align layers right here. Okay, we're going to make sure that the auto is selected, not the perspective. Our vignette removal, geometric distortion, we're fine. Turn those off. And then hit OK. All right. Now if you take a look at that, they're auto-aligned. So now that they're aligned, we're going to take a look at stacking. We're going to go to Auto, Blend Layers. So we're going to go back up to Edit, Auto Blend Layers. Okay, we've got our stack images, right? We're not creating a panorama, we're stacking those pieces. We've got our seamless tones and colors, and our content aware fill does not need to be selected. Okay, and we're gonna go okay. All right. Look at that. Am I crazy? So if you take a look at what you had before when you first came in here, you got that, and now you've got this. And you're done with that. It makes it so simple. I'm gonna save and we're gonna close it. Now you're gonna be working on perspective, okay? So let's do this. Let's open up our bridge. I should probably just show you what you're going to do. Some people get tripped up on this one. Again, you can compare, but start, end. See the wizardly world of Harry Potter. This thing is landing. We're going to put it back on the track. So we've got ours open already, right? It's floating across the bridge. Save this as bridge working. Okay. Now let's go to the train layer, right? We got our train layer and we have our background layer. 1, 2. See how it's a smart object? Makes it so that it does not modify the original image. We're probably gonna do a perspective warp on this one. So you'll go up to edit and you'll go to perspective warp, right? It's gonna start to read the image. Step 1 and 2, you click and drag to define your planes, and then you snap 2 or more planes together to define your corners, right? You can see it here. See how it does that? It's kind of showing you this side, that side, so we can create that perspective. Great. So we are going to go ahead and draw a quad for the side of the train. This is going to go from kind of right here back to this end here. A little bit past it. Let's go and make our shape like this. Okay. We'll do a second quad for the front of the train. I feel like that's fair. So over here, we're gonna go to warp. Then we're going to move the warp pins and we're going to manipulate that, right? So we're going to bring that onto here. I feel like that's probably pretty good. So when you're doing that, you drag the corners of the plane to match the angles of the train. So that bottom line side plane should run along the bottom of the train wheels, and the top edge should border the top of the caboose. The front should have those mirror lines at the cow catcher and the top of the light. Okay, so we drug the handles, we move that down. I feel like that looks pretty good. I don't want to pull it too far. I don't like warping this train and looking too wild. So I'm pretty satisfied. I'm going to click here. Okay, now what I can do is I can go in, I can save this one, or I can just right now just open our end file and take a look at what we got. So see how they have much more pulled perspective? I think they're right. I think I needed to pull it much larger because look at that. That hits there. I mean, even though it goes up higher, I'm gonna get picky, aren't I? Yeah, mine's kind of just cruising. Mine's kind of cruising on the outside. So if we're gonna do that again, we're gonna go ahead and double click that and we can make our change, right? Let's zoom in, take a look what's going on. It's imaginary. If we go longer, I mean, that to me looks like it's riding on the thing correctly. Just the front as needed. Cow catcher, it's crazy. I'm pretty good with that. I'm satisfied as long as your thing's not like sitting up here. I'm pretty good. So we're gonna hit save on that. Okay, we're gonna close this file and you are done with lesson 5.